For everyone just joining us, my name's Erin Mazzoni, and I'm one of the program specialists here at the University of Calgary Haskayne School of Business. We're getting people just trickling in here, so I'm just going to give it a second, though I do want to reward everyone that has shown up on time. So thank you for that. While we're waiting, just to kind of warm up your fingers here, feel free to just drop in the chat where you're joining us from. It's always fun to see. And you may actually see someone who is coming from the same location. So that's always fun. North Carolina, thanks, Jocelyn. Oh, Vietnam. Hi, Sebastian. India, Tia. Thank you, Tia. Bragg Creek. Thanks, Roslyn. Prince George, yes, a Regina, nice. Oh, there's another Vietnam, very nice. Saskatoon, Regina again. Got a couple from Regina. You guys got to connect. Myanmar, wow. Hudson's Hope, some BC, excellent, love it. Vancouver, okay, very nice. Our skies are a little Vancouver-ish today. We got some cloud cover today. Awesome, awesome. So for those just joining us, we're just dropping in the chat where you're joining us from, just to kind of see where everyone's coming in from. So feel free to just warm up your fingers there and throw us a little note to where you're coming in from, because that's the cool thing about this event. You're kind of coming from all over. Nigeria, wow. Ottawa, oh, Ottawa, so pretty there. I have never been to Vietnam or Nigeria, but it's on my list. Edmonton, awesome. Hi, Caitlin. Shout out to the students that are just dropping in here. Hello, hello. So for everyone just joined us, my name's Erin Mazzoni. I've said that three times for the people who just who've been here since the beginning. But I'm one of the program specialists here at the University of Calgary, specifically in the Haskayne School of Business, which is where you're going to be starting your programs in the fall. We're really excited to have you. We're just dropping in the chat where you're coming from, just because it might be fun to connect with someone who's also coming from your same area. And or it's just really fun to see where you guys are all joining us from today. Um, but I'm pretty much going to get started because I want to reward you guys for coming on time. So thank you so much for doing that. And I also want to allow plenty of time for us to actually get through our material. So just a reminder that this is being recorded. We want to, get all of your info in one place. So just be aware of that. But we'll get started. This event today is really an encapsulation of a couple of different pieces. We want to introduce you to an instructor and the instructor's way of teaching, and hopefully the experiential learning piece that you're going to see here at the University of Calgary and through the Haskayne School of Business BCom degree. Um, but we also want to introduce you to some of just the stuff you can get excited about. So that's going to be kind of the main piece that we're going to go over. But the idea is we want you to kind of see yourself here, right? It's a couple of months before you arrive. We want you to kind of see, where you're going to fit in the big puzzle that is your University of Calgary. So we'll get right into it. This is essentially the agenda. So I don't know how many of you know kind of the pardon me, the history with the Indigenous peoples here in Canada, but it is something that we discuss a lot nowadays, because we're kind of on a path for truth and reconciliation, for some pretty heinous crimes that were committed. So in the spirit of that, we do a territorial land acknowledgement at the beginning of most of our meetings. So I'll do that, and then after that, we have one of our professors here who is going to actually, she's going to actually do a mini class for you, a mini lecture. So our instructor Rosalind Pichel will be doing that. So I'm really excited to introduce her for that. And then I'm just going to go over a couple of things about the program itself. So kind of some extras. We'll talk a little bit about the academics, and then we'll talk a little bit about like the quasi-academic stuff, and then the extras that you can also look forward to, as well as where to get resources and help. And then we'll do a bit of a Q&A for those of you who have some burning questions. Okay. So hopefully that covers everything off. And if you'll permit me, I'm going to read through the territorial acknowledgement, just kind of in spirit of kind of at the bottom there where it says moving together in a good way. So the University of Calgary, located in the heart of southern Alberta, both acknowledges and pays tribute to the traditional territories of the peoples of Treaty 7, which include the Blackfoot Confederacy, which is comprised of the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda, which includes the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Goodstoney First Nations. And the city of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. The University of Calgary is situated on land northwest of where the Bow River meets the Elbow River, a site traditionally known as Mohkinstsis to the Blackfoot, Wichita to the Stoney Nakoda, and the Goodsitsi to the Tsuut'ina. On this land and in this place, we strive to learn together, walk together, and grow together in a good way. So thank you for going on that with me, that journey. We again are really trying to move forward together, and move towards truth and reconciliation, and recognize the very privilege that we have to be on this land together. From there, I'm going to just launch right into introducing our instructor today, Rosalind Pichel. She is going to introduce us to something called the impossible pitch, which I'm really excited about. So Roslyn is one of our instructors here, obviously, and she runs the entrepreneurial thinking course, which is one of your core courses as part of your degree. We'll talk a little bit more about the academics of your degree a little bit later, but ultimately everyone must take a certain number of courses from a multiple different areas, different fields, and one of them is entrepreneurial thinking. We're very big on that here at Haskayne. And so Rosalind is one of the instructors for that. And as you can read here, I'm not going to read the introduction because I find that really annoying when people read what's on the screen. I'll leave that to you. But ultimately, she is really looking to partner with her students, as it says here, and wants to involve you guys in the process of learning, and actually experience and doing that highly experiential learning activities. So, with that in mind, I'm going to turn it over to Rosalind, and let her lead you through this impossible pitch. I'm also going to unshare my screen so that she can share hers as well. So, Rosalind, take it away.
Thanks so much, Erin. So great to be here. Wonderful to have so many people showing up for an event like this. I think it's really exciting, and to see people from so many different places is really exciting. I am looking forward to getting to see many of you. As Erin mentioned, I teach one of our classes. It's called Entrepreneurial Thinking ND 317. 317s are going to be your some of your required courses, and at the moment I teach two-thirds of those classes. So I get to see two-thirds of our students as they come through Haskayne, which is pretty fun. I'm just going to share my slides so that you can follow along with what I am talking about. Just fix my screen so I can see you again. So when we talk about entrepreneurial thinking, this might be one of the reasons that you're coming to Haskayne, why you've chosen the school, or it might be something that you're not super familiar with yet, but it is something that you'll get to experience in many different ways when you come to the University of Calgary. And so entrepreneurial thinking is something that was really sort of tested and developed within Haskayne, I would say. It about 10 years ago now, it became a core focus for Haskayne. And that's when the required course was developed, and really recognizing that this was a necessary skill set for all business undergraduate students. Because it was so successful and worked well, and we were able to prove within Haskayne that entrepreneurial thinking skills can be taught. This is not a you are or you aren't an entrepreneur. It is, can you learn these skills or not? And the answer is yes, you can. And so because of that, this really became then a university-wide focus. And this is something that the University of Calgary as a whole has adopted, which I think is quite exciting, and really forms a portion of our entire teaching and strategy focus within the university and in the school. And so it's a little bit of the history, and it is different from being an entrepreneur. And so that is one of the things that I do still hear, right? It's a required course. So students will come in and say, but I don't want to be an entrepreneur. So why do I need to do this? Because having entrepreneurial thinking skills is different from being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur, yes, is you have an abundance of those skills, typically, especially if you're successful at it. But it is not just about being an entrepreneur. It's about those skills and that mindset and that approach to the world and that approach to business and so many different opportunities that is so valuable. And we're now seeing that career paths, regardless of what they are interested in these types of skills. And so I've got them listed here on the bottom of the screen in terms of what we look at as entrepreneurial thinking skills. There's sort of different categories and classifications, and people divide it up a little bit differently. But in NT 317, we're looking at problem solving. We're looking at creativity with limited resources. That means you don't have all the answers. You don't have all the information, but you need to move forward and you need to try something anyways. When you try something and you don't know if it's going to work, you might fail. And that's okay. We learn so much from failing. And so the point of failing forward is to say, well, we failed. Now what do we do? How do we learn from that failure and make sure we don't fail again, for example? This often requires teamwork. This often requires working with people that maybe you don't actually get along with or you have quite different perspectives from. And that is a really important skill as well. As entrepreneurial thinkers, it's really important to go out and gather feedback, to talk to people and make sure you're not making decisions based on assumptions or things you think you know. And so you have to go and ask people and test it and try things and figure out what that might be. And when you're doing all of those things, you're trying things that have never been done before, you might fail, you have to talk to people, you have to work with people you don't know, you have to get feedback from people you've never met. There's some ambiguity there. There's some uncertainty. There's some discomfort there, but being able to work through that is a really important piece. And a really important element across all of this is empathy. When you are designing something, when you are solving problems, when you are, if this is launching a new company or starting a new product line for an existing company or solving a challenge for one of the clients in the company that you're working for, empathy is so, so important. Being able to understand what other people are going through, to understand their perspectives, their opinions, their pain points, and make sure that you're designing something that works for them, not your assumptions about them, is a really important piece on this. So we have a number of classes, and this is built into a number of different avenues within the school, both Haskayne and across the University of Calgary, but these really are important pieces. And so when you think about these skills, I would challenge you to think of any career out there that doesn't need some of these, right? Even in very predictable environments, of which I'm not sure there are too many anymore, these things are going to be necessary. You're going to have to try things. You're going to have to solve problems. You're going to have to be able to learn from failures. One of the reasons that this whole avenue started in Haskayne was because employers came to Haskayne and said, your students are great when there is, a process and the answer is known. They can get stuff done when we know what the answer is. But we don't know what the answer is all the time. And so we need students that can help us find answers and help us find solutions and be comfortable working through that. So that is where entrepreneurial thinking really came from and where it becomes such an opportunity for our students to dive into that. So that's enough of me just talking about it. What I want to do is just work through a couple of very short exercises that give you a little taste of what entrepreneurial thinking can be about, a little taste of what some of the classes will be like, and a little taste of what experiential learning might be. Now, just to warn you, this is going to require a little bit of interaction, so get ready to share some of your thoughts. So the first part of this is the first part of the impossible pitch. So what I'd like you to do is start to think about an idea. And this is going to be a really random thing, right? So this is part of our creativity with limited resources. This is trying to come up with a new idea. So I'd like you to take a moment and look on the screen. If your first Your first name starts with the letters A to H. You need to think about something that has to do with chicken. If your name starts with I to P, it's going to be about a tree. Q to Z, banana. Okay, super random things. Then you're going to look at the first letter of your last name, and then you're going to add in your birth month, and you're going to get three super random things. I'd like you to take a couple of minutes or 30 seconds or however long it takes. Think about those combination of things and then write into the chat a very short pitch about, or a very short idea. What could a product or a solution or a service, a business idea that combines those three things look like? So whenever you're ready, type into the chat what that might look like for you. I haven't actually done this for me either, so maybe I'll do it as well. Okay. So mine, for example, I have banana, mountain, and AI. So banana and mountain make me think about nutrition and food and what I need when I'm going hiking. And so my solution is going to be an AI powered nutrition app for mountaineers. Random, but that's where I'm going. I'm excited to hear from you. Type into the chat when you start to think about what yours might be. All right, awesome. A rainy bar that gives patrons umbrellas and feeds them chickens. Perfect. For anyone that's in Vancouver, maybe that's somewhere that you'd be finding that. Metro Detroit, fair enough. Okay, great. Let's see. Chicken, mountain, and AI. We're going to run tours to the mountains, and on the trip, we'll serve chicken and connect to an app for chicken recipes. Fantastic. You will need to have one of these for the next part of this. So even if it's ridiculous, actually, especially if it's ridiculous, try to get something into the chat. Hmm. Chicken Frog AI, an AI powered animal identification app. Love it. Okay, now we're getting some in. AI powered animal identification. Totally. AI powered app that opens umbrellas for free range chicken ranchers when it rains. I love that. Tree Mountain and AI, nature adventure survival practice application or VR, which contains AI. Awesome. Mountain raised chicken cooked in beer food launch. Awesome. Tree Mountain food, food products for people with specialty and freeze dried snack. Awesome. Lots of September to December babies, totally. Chicken umbrella beer. Guests sitting under an umbrella table are served beer by chickens. I love this. Okay, fantastic. So, first of all, this might seem a little bit ridiculous, and it is, but that's okay. That's part of the fun. Part of creativity and part of entrepreneurial thinking is about combining things in new ways, sometimes ridiculous ways, but that helps us to kind of work backwards a little bit, or maybe even forwards to ideas that can work. A lot of things that seem ridiculous at the outset can become really valuable ideas. And so this process of trying to combine things randomly helps to get our brains a little bit engaged, going, oh, we're not just coming up with predictable things here. We're trying to come up with new ideas. Okay, awesome. I see a few more in the chat. I'm going to read a couple of those out, and then I'm going to move on to part two. Gathering place where it constantly rains during your entire drinking experience in the forest. That sounds very, I mean, I guess it's not forest bathing anymore. It's forest showering, perhaps, in the rain. I bet you could get some nature lovers onto that real quick. Let's see, Banana Mountain Food, a stall selling premium bananas on the top of Mount Everest. Yeah, that's a good place for some bananas. I think I'd be ready for one by the time I got up there. Banana Umbrella AI. Awesome. Tree, Mountain, and Beer. I think we could offer a flight that can be enjoyed in the mountains, under the trees, in the beautiful nature. Absolutely. A smart toy frog that talks and helps kids learn about nature. Amazing. That could actually be a real thing. I like that. Chicken Mountain AI, an app that tracks the state of farmers' chickens and provides advice. Totally. Banana Mountain Food, dehydrated, long life but tasty banana and nut snacks for backpacking. Hiking in the mountains with reward of drinking beer under beautiful trees. That's brilliant. I don't think I saw anyone from Germany on the list, but this is one of we have really close family friends in Germany, and they have little beer stubs and little huts basically at the top of all of the mountains. You go for a hike, and there is beer at the top. It's brilliant. It makes hiking fabulous. AI-powered umbrella simulating coolness of a tree. Fantastic. An umbrella that has built-in pockets for banana that uses AI for a map to guide you. I love this. Okay, fantastic. Those are excellent ideas. So what we're going to do now is we are going to shift to part two of this. And so in a moment, Erin is going to put you into small breakout rooms. And in that, you get a couple of minutes to be able to just introduce each other and then compare your ideas and choose one of those ideas. And this is where I want you to go a little bit deeper into the empathy part of this. And so really starting to think about who it is that would want the solution and why. One of the biggest challenges we often see in either new companies or new ideas or new products is that that empathy piece is kind of missing. It's a funky new invention, but it doesn't actually have a customer. So there are some in there that were kind of ridiculous and some that could totally be a thing. But with this, I'd like you to go back in terms of those ideas in your breakout rooms and think about this sort of startup Mad Libs. So everything that's in those square brackets and underlined are going to be things that you replace with the one idea that you choose as a group. So we help customers. So who is this customer? Why do they want this? What problem are they experiencing, right? Again, we need to solve a problem with this by providing the solution that you came up with so that they can, what is it that they do? How is their life improved when you have solved their problem? So Erin, if you don't mind, sending everyone into their breakout rooms, we'll do this for, I think, let's go for 10 minutes at most.
Mhm.
Whenever you're done, you can come on back. Otherwise, we'll close down the breakout rooms at 10 minutes. And
Okay.
then I'm going to ask a few of those brave people to share their pitch, whether that's this statement, that would be great, or if you come up with something even a little bit more elaborate, hello, dragons, you are welcome to do that too.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Roslyn. Okay. So I am going to create, it looks like six breakout rooms, which means there's about 5 to 6 of you per room. So we're going to do that. I believe a little like thing will come up that will say, join a breakout room. So you just click on that. It'll take you to your room. You guys can have 10 minutes. So we'll come back at about 9:32 or thereabouts. Yeah, have some fun with this. Here we go. I'm opening all rooms. Yes. So for those of you here, there should be a little button that comes up that says join a breakout room. And then you can go. Most people have joined their rooms, so that's good.
Working well for most.
Yeah. There's a few that haven't joined. Oh, here, I'll put my video on here so you're not the only one. There we are. Hello.
Hello.
That was great fun. I was like,
Yeah,
ooh, I'm gonna try that.
yeah, totally.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
coming up with really random combinations of things.
I love it. Yeah, very cool.
And so I'm right on the time, right? So if I'm supposed to be done at about 9:35.
Yeah, yeah. So you're just gonna debrief this after? Is that the plan?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
basically have if there's a few people that are brave enough to speak up, that would be great. Otherwise, I'll have a few type into the chat.
yeah.
And then I have just a slide that
No
says
worries.
keep practicing, and they're like 1 minute things that you can
Yeah.
do every single day to keep doing a certain
Oh,
so.
I love that. Okay. Yeah, no worries. I can adjust my material to kind of yeah, to kind of like follow, like if you end up going a little bit later, if everybody wants to talk, which would be great. So don't stress too badly about that. We have them until 10 o'clock, but I think Kofi has built in time for the Q&A part. So, um, that can, like I said, I'm kind of here until we've answered the questions sufficiently. So if that goes beyond 10, I'm okay with that. So yeah, so don't worry too much about your time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. I actually took the NT class. I was at Mount Royal and I was doing like the transfer program. So it
Oh,
was a
okay.
little while ago. I'm not going to say how long. But yeah, so it was a while ago and I did the entrepreneurship class and it was called Neditor. And it was basically like an online editing tool. So students could like send in this was like pre-AI basically. But it was like they could send in their papers and get them edited.
Oh, cool.
Now we didn't actually go ahead with it, but we could
Yeah.
have.
No, that sounds like a really valuable, valuable tool.
Yeah.
Be super
Yeah. It
useful.
was very, very like viable, like I said.
Yeah, totally. That's cool. Well, that must have been fun. It's I think that is a um it makes it a little bit more real. Some of the ideas aren't that, right? Some of them are not that feasible or not that realistic, which is also totally fine. But I
Yeah.
think it has a little bit more of a um realism to it and a little bit more sort of relevance when you do have that. So that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was really cool. It was a neat opportunity for sure. Ooh, there's a broadcast here. That's cool. It's weird. There's some of them come up and they're like not assigned. So I'm like, why not?
Yes,
But anyways, it could be that they join now, like they could be coming in
that's
late,
true. Yeah.
So throwing them in a room and they'll be like, what are we doing?
What's going on? Who are you people?
Yeah, exactly. It's okay though. Give them a few more minutes.
Okay.
We had our yesterday was the last day, as I'm sure you know, to withdraw from a course. Um, so we've got a few
Had a busy day.
panicked students who've emailed, like they emailed last night at like 11:40, right? And
Oh,
they're like, I can't drop it. And it's
I
like,
forgot.
yeah, exactly. So it's like,
Oh dear.
well,
How do
yeah.
you manage that? Is there
Well, we actually have like our academic development specialist. We work with her on this sort of stuff. So,
okay?
if students are struggling with that, we kind of refer them to her to
Yeah.
have a conversation about options, right? Because ultimately, like the deadline's there for a reason, and et cetera, et cetera. So,
Yeah. Why are you waiting till 11:59 the night of the deadline to do it? You knew you were going to
yeah,
do it. Just do it. That
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
fair enough. Yeah, I have students often in 317
Hmm.
that like don't hand in a single assignment, don't do a single quiz, like obviously not planning on finishing the course, planning on withdrawing,
Right.
but for
Yeah.
some reason don't for a while.
Huh. Yeah.
I just if you're gonna do it,
Yeah.
like just
Yeah. Just
just
do
do
it.
it.
Take it off your plate officially.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that funny? Hey, it's students have their own mind about things, which is good in a lot of ways. That's where creativity comes from.
Hmm. Yep.
Excuse me. Give them maybe 3 more minutes.
Yeah, for sure. That should be plenty.
Okay.
One of the sort of keep practicing activities that I have is one that I'm working on developing some new activities for the class itself. And
Cool.
so one of them is called constraint creation. And so
Ooh.
it's like trying to come up with a business idea with random constraints. And so I had a list of
Ooh.
a couple of different things that I thought would be kind of entertaining. But described the idea to ChatGPT and asked it for additional constraints.
Yeah.
There are some awesome ones.
Oh
It's
my
so
gosh.
and
That's
so
very
it breaks
cool.
them down. So there's one that's resource and technology constraints, environmental and social constraints, financial constraints, and then it's got silly and absurd ones. And
Nice.
those are obviously my favorite.
Obviously. Yes.
Yeah. Must
Love
involve
it.
bubbles.
Nice. Love
Uh,
it.
yeah. Designed
Yeah.
for use by octopuses.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Octopuses are animals too. They're
Obviously,
beings too.
a
They,
large customer demographic that's being
that's
ignored.
right. That's being ignored and forgotten. Yeah.
Totally. Only functions when it's being sung to. Awesome.
Love that. Okay, I'm going to try this broadcast and let them know they have 1 minute.
Hmm.
I don't know if that works. I'm going to
Okay.
try. It looks like a fun thing.
Yes.
Oh, it's a message. 1 more minute to wrap up. Broadcast. Okay. We had one student, Zariana. Oh, sorry to hear that. I hope you weren't sitting alone the whole time, but that's okay. We're going to be bringing everyone back here shortly anyways, and we'll debrief. So I'm sorry that that didn't work out for you.
I think that's
Technology is good, but it's not perfect.
difficult. I think it sometimes is a Zoom
Pardon me.
needs to update every 17 seconds. And if you haven't done the most recent one, then sometimes the Zoom rooms or something like that don't always cooperate.
Don't
So
always cooperate. Oh, interesting. Okay. I learned something new. All right,
well,
I'm bringing everybody back. Close
beautiful.
all rooms. Haha. Come back. Come back to us.
Yes.
Ugh. All breakout rooms will close in 52 seconds. I think
Hmm.
they can join back though, anyways.
Yeah, they could come back.
Yeah, they get a little like thing that says, come back, come back. Excuse me. Come back, come back. People are slowly moving back, so that's good.
Excellent.
Excuse me. 20 more seconds, Rosalind. And then
Okay.
I can kind of give you the go ahead because I've got the breakout rooms open here.
Okay. Beautiful.
So I'll give you kind of a take it away. So hopefully you're all kind of joining us again. Seeing a few people maybe still chatting. Room 4 is very, very dynamic. Okay, there we go. It's closed.
Okay.
All
Fabulous.
right. So everyone has come back. Thank you for rejoining us. And I'm going to turn it back to Roslyn.
Okay, awesome. I could see some of the rooms were in there right to the very last second, so that's probably a good sign. You're still working hard on things, which is great. I hope that was some fun. I hope that you were able to work through this. What I'm hoping for now are some brave volunteers who would be willing to unmute themselves and either give us a short pitch, or even if it's just reading out the Mad Libs as you filled it in for your idea. That would be great. So I'm going to pause and see if we have any volunteers that would be willing to speak up to share their idea.
Yeah, I can go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, so our group came up with an animal identification app powered by AI,
Beautiful.
and we aim to help animal lovers who want to deepen their understanding of the ecosystem by providing an app that identifies animals, shows their location, and shares fascinating facts, making it easier to explore and appreciate the richness of the animal kingdom, along with providing hikers with potential dangers.
Fantastic. I would use this. That was awesome. Thank you so much. From three super random things, there's a great idea. Thank you. Anyone else?
Can I go?
Please.
Yes, my team came up with an idea of freeze-dried healthy snacks, mainly focusing on fruit snacks. And as they are freeze-dried, they contain 97% of original nutrition as a fresh fruit, and they have a 25 years of shelf life. And our team also came up with a biodegradable packaging, as we are focusing on sustainable environment. And the name for the company, we were just brainstorming. Peak Fuel was the name, as my theme was tree, food, mountain, as the theme was, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. And so you see this being for hikers and outdoorsy people who are focused on sustainability and healthy snacks, sounds like.
Yeah, also one point, also focusing on protein snacks for gym goers and people who work out.
Awesome. Fantastic. That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll go next. So
Please.
my group's words were chicken mounds and AI. We identified a problem. Farmers don't have current solutions to fix issues. So our solution was to come up with an app that gives them these solutions. So our basic to put it all together. So farmers in the mounds are given an AI help or an AI app to help find solutions to current problems that they'd be facing.
Okay. Beautiful. Any type of farmer in particular that you'd be thinking of?
We were thinking of basically just general farmers in the mountains. But the person that had the word farmer is actually from Saskatchewan, so it all makes sense.
Works out. Except for yeah, farm, mountain. You need someone else to bring in the mountains. Awesome. That's great. Yeah, so someone from Saskatchewan, farming experience, that's great. Yeah, would need some support if farming in the mountains. Cool. Anyone else?
Hi. Our product is more of an experience. We help any person over the age of 18 and loves nature who struggles with getting out of the city and into nature for a new and exciting experience so they can enjoy socialization and nature. Because of COVID, we have kind of Zoom and we haven't been able to really come out and socialize as a society a whole lot. So I think it's a good experience because it will be raining the entire time and it just provides a calming atmosphere where you can meet new people and it's yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah, get outside, have an experience, meet new people, enjoy the rain, and decide that one of the things that we don't specifically have in entrepreneurial thinking is resilience as one of those 7 skills that I talked about earlier. But I think resilience is absolutely one of them. Maybe that's it's sort of related to failing forward for sure, but saying it's raining, but we're going to do it anyways, and we're going to enjoy it because we're going to get to see people and be outside. So I love that. Awesome. Anyone else? Okay, well, thank you so much to those of you who have shared. Thank you for engaging in this process. Some great ideas. And from what starts out being super random things to actual viable ideas just that quickly is kind of cool. And so I appreciate you working through that with me. A lot of this is, so entrepreneurial thinking is a lot about trying to kind of break out of some of those mental habits that we get into. As we get older, we lose creativity. And so there's a lot of people I'll ask in class, like, who here feels creative, thinks that they're a very creative person? And often there's like one or two people in a classroom of 80 that will say, yeah, I'm super creative. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's zero. But what's interesting is when we look at kids are brilliant. They are genius when it comes to creativity. All kids are crazy creative. And we start to lose that a little bit as we get older. We have less opportunities to practice it. We have less need to practice it. And there's a lot of efficiency in just saying, I know what my pen is for. Oh, you can't see it because of the blurred background. There we go. I know what this is for. It's a pen and it's only ever a pen, right? But I have a 7-year-old son, and when he was 4 and 5, he could pick up this pen and he could tell me that it was a rocket ship, that it was a laser beam, that it was a teleportation device, that it was a bridge, right? He could come up with 7 different things without even trying. I got to 4 and I'm already stuck, and I've been practicing, right? So we start to kind of lose it a little bit. And for a lot of sometimes good reasons, but also sometimes some sort of unfortunate reasons. And so, with that in mind, one of the things that entrepreneurial thinking is really trying to do is bring back that sort of creative side of us. We all have it in us, but we do lose it. And so, in our classes, we do a lot of things to kind of reintroduce creativity and bringing those pieces back in. If this is something that you want to practice and you're going, yeah, you know what? I'm not super creative anymore and I would like to be. I miss being creative. I know I do. Then there's all sorts of fun things to just be able to do, right? There's tiny little practices that you can do all the time. So thinking about kids again, they ask why a lot. And it's valuable, right? Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Right? We take some things for granted, and that means that we're spending a little less time being creative and investigating those things. Activities like how else can you use it, right? So for whatever reason, a paperclip is often the one that is brought up for this, right? So this is a paperclip. We know it as a paperclip, but what else could it be, right? Give it a different use. Give it as many different uses as you possibly can. That is another way of telling our brains that, hey, we're not just going to assume that this is the only thing. This is the thing that we assume it to be. We're going to try and break out of that. Constraint creation is a fun one. This is saying, okay, so I need to start a business and then adding a constraint to it, right? I'm going to launch a new product, but it has to make money in a week. It has to run without electricity. It has to use only biodegradable products. It has to use only things I'm already using, or things I already own to be able to build it. I actually asked ChatGPT for a couple of additional constraints, and it gives some hysterical ones, like it has to run on bubbles. It only works when it's being sung to, right? Like weird constraints that make you think like, okay, if I have to work in these constraints, what am I going to do differently? Reverse it is, take something that works really well, take something that's super successful and figure out what you need to do to it to make it terrible, right? Again, just thinking about what makes that good, therefore what would make it terrible, giving our brains different ways to think about this. Problem sleuth is, look around you and see, like, look for a potential customer, right? When you come to school, you're going to see overworked students and say, what are some problems that they experience? What are some needs that they have that would be interesting to solve? When you go to the grocery store, you're going to see, moms with toddlers. At the grocery store, what are some problems that she experiences? And how do you develop empathy for her and understand what problems she might have that you could help to solve? And then invention mashup is kind of like what we just did, right? Take two random things, put them together, and see how you could create a business about them. So this is both about creativity, but also about entrepreneurial thinking and some of that innovation piece. And so it's actually quite simple to practice in little daily practices, little daily habits, but really simple not to do as well, which is where we start to lose some of these abilities. So I'm going to leave you with the fact that entrepreneurial thinking is a skill. And even if you say, I'm not entrepreneurial, I'm not creative, that's okay. Because actually you are, it's in there somewhere. It's just a skill. It's a muscle that maybe you haven't practiced, you haven't used for a while, and you can start to develop it. And it is an opportunity to continue developing these things because one, it's kind of fun. Two, it's good for your job. And three, it can really just help, in terms of your own sort of life plans and life choices. So thanks so much for spending the time with me. So I've gone a little bit over my time allotment. So I'm going to hand it back to Erin, and I will look forward to seeing some of you, I very much hope, in NT317. It's a second year class, so not for a little while, but if you are in my class for that, please do come and say hello when that happens. Thanks for having me.
Yay! Thanks, Rosalind. That was amazing. For those of you who don't know, this is my round of applause. Yes, it's a dad joke for everybody. Okay, so I am going to move into the more academic stuff and kind of piece around the actual university and the program as opposed to the course content. But what I will do so that Rosalind can kind of get back to her life is encourage if any of you guys have questions for Rosalind, if you want to type them in the chat while I'm kind of chatting about some of this other stuff, then she can kind of take a few minutes to answer those, and then we'll let her kind of continue on with her Saturday morning. I know we have about 15 minutes, so I'm going to get through the next content, and then we'll do some questions if you guys have. I'm happy to stay on and do some questions. So let me share my screen here. We'll get back to my PowerPoint, my slide deck. So here we are. This was our lovely intro for Rosalind. Again, if any of you have questions for Rosalind, maybe we'll give it until about 10 to 10, so 5 minutes or so. And then, if there's nothing, we'll just say thank you so much, Rosalind, for that lovely experience. That was really fun. Awesome. Okay, so moving along, just some stuff to get excited about. So I do want to chat a little bit about the academic piece because I'm sure you're all wondering. So I just want to do kind of a brief overview of what a degree is, right? So you are coming in, you're going to be doing a 40 course degree, okay? Now notice I didn't say 4-year degree, I said 40 course degree. And there's a strong difference because a lot of students, you break down the math, you go, okay, 40 courses, 10 courses a year means I'm done in 4 years, right? Which you're not wrong, that's true. But realistically, there's so many things that change how many courses you take a year. We recommend potentially only doing 4 courses every semester, fall, winter, which puts you at about 8 a year, which means you take an extra year. So you take kind of 5 years instead of 4. Students might do something like, and we mention here, something like an exchange. We're going to talk briefly about co-op, right? So things like that can, not always, but can extend the time as well. But there's a payoff for that, right? You get potentially work experience or you're in another country for a semester. So, there are ways to diversify your degree. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are, you know, um, completing it exactly in those 4 years. Okay. So, more importantly, to recognize that it's a 40 course degree. And out of those 40 courses, you have kind of 27 core type courses that are surrounding business and the skills needed for business. And then you've got your 13 electives. Okay. Those are options. So just like in high school, when you were taking things like um, art or philosophy or drama or something like that, you also have options here at the university, and it's basically any other courses that are offered. And the idea is that you have breadth to your degree. Okay, so yes, you're doing business and you're doing a lot of business related content, but we would like you to kind of step out and gain kind of some of those transferable skills from other courses, and that's where the electives come in. Within those electives, you can do things like a combined degree. You can add a minor. You can do something called an embedded certificate. Okay. And all that means is that a certain number of those options are then relegated to complete the core courses for something like the minor or the combined degree or the certificate. Okay. Things that you can get into later on. You don't have to understand what all of that means right now. But the concept is that there are ways to be strategic about your electives, and potentially, create an additional credential, such as a minor, like I said, or a certificate or a combined degree. But there's also nothing wrong with just taking 13 completely different courses and just really, experiencing all these different areas at the university. Okay, so something to think about and get excited about. We also have, our different kind of specialized learning pieces. There's about 16 of them. We call them concentrations here, where you actually choose what area you want to focus kind of your six really specific business courses around. And those are things like accounting, finance, those tend to be the big ones. But we've also got business technology management, international business, entrepreneurial thinking, right? So there's all these different areas that you could potentially concentrate in and gain just a little bit more content than some of your peers. Okay, so that's something to get excited about. Of course, there's international exchange that happens to fall under my portfolio and my umbrella. I cover kind of the Asia Pacific region of exchange, and my colleague does Europe. So we share that portfolio. It's a lot of fun. We send you guys out for anywhere from a couple of weeks to a full semester to a full year abroad. But usually you're taking courses towards either your concentration, like we talked about, or your electives. Okay, so you don't usually take any of your cores while you're abroad, but you are able to take courses from these other areas. That we also have an honors program or research focused option. So honors is not the same as high school honors. So students get a little confused about that because they think it's just GPA based. There is an element of that, but honors actually is like pre-masters. So it's just kind of it's like the top end of the undergraduate in the sense that you're actually focusing a little bit more on research as opposed to like the academic classroom stuff. So you're actually doing some research, you're working with a prof, you're identifying a problem that you want to research more about. Okay. And then, of course, we have some fun learning experiences. We've got a wilderness retreat where you literally go out and take some time it's about a week-long course, and you're out and in the wilderness. You're out camping, essentially, and that's part of a class. You actually get credit for that. We also have a student-led investment fund, the CPMT, where you can actually practice financial trading and stuff with real money. So you're actually, making those purchases and stuff. So it's very cool. Pardon me. So some of the quasi-academic stuff, which kind of straddles like your outside world and the academics, are things like the co-op program that we talked about. So co-op allows you to actually go out and work during one of your semesters. You can take a course while you're doing that, but the other thing is you're actually in a co-op class as well. So there are deliverables for that. Usually, there's a document about like the goals that you're hoping to achieve. There's a bit of a report about meetings that you have with your employer because there's kind of expectations that you'll meet with your employer and discuss your goals and meeting those. So there are some deliverables for the class that you take associated with co-op, but the idea is primarily that you are working kind of that 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 job for that semester. And essentially, we require that you do 8 months minimum, but some students do a full year. Some students do 16 months. It's kind of up to you and the employer. But yeah, the minimum would be that you would do an 8 month term. Sometimes that is split up 4 months apiece in two different institutions, or sometimes it's all together at the same place. It's kind of up to you and the employer. But yes, something that we offer you and we kind of help you through. We don't place you in positions. You do have to still win the position in the sense that you would apply for it, go for the interview, etc. But yeah, ultimately the idea is to work with you to kind of present your best self for that. We have some lecture series. We've got lots of events, events. We bring employers on campus all the time to meet with you guys. We do something called a case competition, which is kind of a bigger version of what you did today, where you're put into groups and you're given a case, you're given a problem, a real world problem, and then you're given so long to actually come up with a solution to make recommendations to the company on how to deal with that. And it's a competition, so you can be the winner of that with the pitch. And there's lots of accolades that come from that. We have lots of student clubs, of course, and we've got centers and other centers of excellence as well. One of the centers runs that wilderness retreat, like I was mentioning. So lots of kind of opportunities for you there. And then kind of some extras that we have. So again, we do have that network. We do things like 10,000 coffees where we get you guys involved with, industry leaders and each other and connecting with Haskayne connections and in the community. And then, we really are looking at more EDIA, which is kind of that equity and diversity piece that we are building too. So lots to get excited about, lots to welcome you on, and we're really excited about it. So we hope you are too. Um, we're just going to watch a little video here. Hopefully it'll play. See if I can get it to go. Hello. No, it's not working. It was working yesterday. Um, sorry guys, this isn't working for us. Okay, that's fine. We are going to move along. But essentially, I will try to find the video at the end here so that you can see that. But this here is just kind of chatting about, the fact that we're all here to help you succeed. We have advising resources like myself and my colleagues. We're all here to help you out. A little bit of a Where's Waldo moment. I don't know if you guys are old enough to understand Waldo. But essentially, maybe you can find me in this picture because I'm in here somewhere. So see if you can find me. But ultimately, we do have some advising resources available to you. Of course, we're always here we do drop-in advising, and we also do appointments. So when you're kind of on campus and you're not sure where to go, we're happy to kind of be that first stop. There's an email address there that you can reach out to. But yeah, we can talk about exchange advising. We can point you to the co-op advising as well. There are career advisors to help you kind of develop your resume, to navigate interviews, etc. We have an amazing academic development specialist, so she can be really helpful when things are not going exactly the way you'd hoped it would. So, if courses are giving you a bit of struggles, we have someone who can really help you kind of reframe that, draw on some tools, draw on some study tips. She has a social work background, so she also has kind of that softer approach as well and reframing. So she's really wonderful, and that's in-house, which is very unusual. Not all programs have that, so we're really lucky. And we also have a business library right on site as well, and a librarian as well that she can kind of, or they can kind of move you to resources that you might need and make use of. So, all that to say that we are really excited to have you. I'm just going to bring this up because my understanding is that you need to scan this so that it goes back to kind of the registrar's office that you did attend. So, I'm going to leave this up here. But I did want to say, again, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate your time. And if you have any questions, this would kind of be the time to do that. You can throw them in the chat. You can ask them out loud. I'm happy to do kind of any questions or answer anything that has come up for you guys. I know I went through that really quickly, so I appreciate that. It might be a little bit overwhelming. But yeah, feel free to reach out. You can also reach out at our on email. So I'm going to just type that in the chat as well. It's the word undergraduate at haskayne.ucalgary.ca. Send that through. So you can certainly reach out there as well. But ultimately, I think that, we are thrilled to be welcoming you in the fall. I hope you got something out of this session today. And thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions, reach out either through the chat or you can even unmute if you'd like. What courses should we schedule for our first year? Great question, Eric. I am actually going to show you guys. Okay, I will bring this QR code up shortly, but I'm just going to stop share and then reshare because I want to show you guys something on the website to figure out your first year schedule. Okay. And Oscar, I see your question there. It is not actually available. So he was asking if co-op is available in your first year, and it is not. We want you to have some of your courses already completed before you go out. And some of that is just so that you have the knowledge and take that with you when you go out into the workforce. So yeah, so it's not available in first year. It's something that you will work towards probably closer to second or even realistically third year. Okay, so thanks for the question. I am going to share my screen quick and then I will bring back that QR code. Okay, so I want everyone, if you take nothing else from this, go to haskayne.ucalgary.ca at some point in the next little while. And if you go under the Future Students tab, which you guys are all future students, there's an Incoming Students tab here that I want you to hop into. And this is a wealth of information for all of you. It is talking about kind of the first year degree guide, what courses you want to be looking at. There's some advice, there's first year tips, there's a program overview. It just kind of gives you a lovely kind of overview of everything that you want to think about in your first year. Okay, so one of my favorite things to show you guys is this because I'm like, this is important. You guys want to read through this, okay? So again, it's haskayne.ucalgary.ca. Under the Future Students dropdown, you go to the Incoming Students tab. Okay, and that is going to give you a bunch of information and tips and tricks for your first year here. I'm going to stop share and then bring up the QR code again for anyone who needs it. Okay. I just want to see if this video is going to play. It doesn't look like it's just a picture. It's not. So that's okay. I will try to find, here, we'll bring this up for you. I will try to find the video in the meantime. Okay, I had a few more questions in the chat. How can I scan the QR code? Oh, so ideally you want to use a smart device of some kind. So I don't know if you have a smartphone. You basically open up your photo app and then hold it up to that, and it should, like the photo app will see it, and then it will bring up a website that you would go to confirm. So hopefully that works. If it doesn't, you can certainly email that email address I mentioned earlier, and we'll try to get you connected with enrollment services. I have a question about maximum amount of tuition fees. On the offer letter is given in a scholarship amount. You know what? Scholarships are a little outside my wheelhouse, I will say. So maybe what I'll do is I'm just going to write in an email address because I'm sure everyone else is curious about scholarships as well. So I would recommend just reaching out to UC Awards at ucalgary.ca. So yes, I think that that might help. Okay, what are the requirements for the embedded certificate in leadership? Okay, so that's something that we can discuss once you're here. Essentially, the point of an embedded leadership, the embedded leadership certificate is that, essentially you're taking some courses already that count towards it as part of your degree. So you don't actually need to, you actually don't need to like deal with additional courses necessarily, except for maybe one or two. So you'll take courses towards it without even trying, just because it's embedded. But yeah, it's kind of a cool thing that way where you can just add a couple of option courses that are specific to the leadership. And it's usually like a leadership course. But there are other areas on campus that offer leadership type content. So things like philosophy, for example. But that's definitely something we can do and talk about more once you're kind of past your first year. Okay. So I'm getting a note that this will play in full mode, full screen mode. but it's still not working, Kofi, I'm afraid. Like I push next and it's not like it's just a picture. So I think I just have the wrong version of this open. So give me one moment, everyone. If you're still with us, I really appreciate you hanging in. I am gonna try to get this video to play for you. So, okay, I'm gonna share my screen again and play this video for you. I apologize for the techno issues. Okay. Um, here we are. Should be this one. So we'll just do this little video quick. There we go. Now it's actually got a play button on it. Oh, goodness. Uh, Awesome. Thank you all for going on that journey with me. I'm going to resume the Q&A. Okay. So I think we got that. Good, good. Okay, so we talked about, is there a food court inside the campus? There is indeed, yes. So we have McEwen Hall, which is a student center, and there is indeed a full food court there. So you're able to kind of grab some snacks and food on your way in and out. So that's great. Um, okay, so we were seeing someone wanted to double check that the place that they are getting is correct. Um, is asking questions representing a faculty or not, and where would you like? Yeah, so yes, so for the QR code, it's asking what faculty. You are saying Haskayne, um, and you would essentially be saying that you are with Haskayne. Um, Was there any other you at UCalgary Zooms today? I do not believe so. So I think this is the only kind of session that you'd be doing because it's based on faculty. So hopefully that works. And that explains it. Essentially, it's only for the faculty that you are joining. So you're supposed to go to kind of your own faculty event, which is us, Haskayne. Um, I had a student asking about a max scholarship. So again, that would be a better question for the UC Awards, just because I'm not really clear on what they're offering. I want to say that there's like thousands of dollars available. So hopefully that you weren't able to scan the QR code. That's okay. Just shoot us a quick email. I'll type it in again here, undergraduate. Oh, um, undergraduate at haskayne.ucalgary.ca. And then also kind of back to the awards question, like I said, there's hundreds of thousands that is available. But I think, any one person, I want to say in the kind of 50,000 range. But again, I don't know those details just because I don't deal with the awards. So better off to reach out to the UC Awards email address. So I'll type that in here as well. UC Awards at ucalgary.ca. So those are kind of your two ones. If you're having trouble with the QR code, you can reach out to the undergraduate at haskayne.ucalgary.ca. But for those who were asking about a QR, yeah, you want to add business. Someone is asking, can we put it up again? We absolutely can do that. Let's do that. There we are. So anyone who needs it can see it. Oh, we've got some more chats here. The PDF of the slideshow. That I'm not sure we can do. That is something that we'll have to look into afterwards. I do remember in previous years, I think we posted the recording on the webpage somewhere. But I do not think that I can send the slides, but I'm not sure about that. But feel free to reach out to our email address up there, the undergraduate, and we can get back to you on like how we're handling the presentation itself. But I really do recommend that UCalgary, like the Haskayne website. So again, I'm going to type that in here as well. That was haskayne.ucalgary.ca. Excellent website for you guys. And then, as we mentioned, under that future student dropdown, you go to that incoming student tab. It's going to give you all kinds of tips and tricks about your classes. But just kind of a general preview, you are looking at taking kind of some introductory skill building courses. So things like math and statistics and economics, English, those sorts of courses is what we're kind of recommending for your first year. And then take a course or two as an elective. Just kind of, dip your feet in, see what's out there, see what we offer. There's hundreds of courses in the arts and sciences that you can kind of just dabble in and see what kind of interests you. Okay. So I'm going to say that kind of wraps us up here. But I will stay on to answer any questions. So if anyone is, needing to rush off, again, I don't want to take too much of your time. I've already done so. But I'm happy to stay on and answer any questions that come up still. But thank you for joining.
Hey,
Um,
Aaron, I have
yeah.
a question.
Yes, please.
So, is this the right QR code? Because the question it's asking is on behalf of your faculty service, are you the best point of contact for this event? And
Okay.
if you're representing a faculty, where would your faculty hub to be located? So, I'm not
Yeah, that's
sure.
fair. That's kind of a odd question. Um, Yeah, so I think let's do this together for anyone who is still doing it. You can put in your name. You are a faculty. I would say, yeah, see the what best defines you is challenging. Do you plan to participate in the passport challenge? Okay, I'm going to try to fill it out. Um, And then I'm going to say faculty representative because I'm part of Haskayne, as are you because you're all Haskayne students. So then one faculty or service group, you would say Haskayne School of a Business. On behalf, are you the best point of contact for this event? You would say no. If you're representing a faculty, where would you like your faculty hub to be located? Matheson Hall. And then do you plan on participating? Yes. So yeah, this does sound like it was more for kind of our people who were doing like putting on this event as opposed to like stating that you came in. So what I would recommend is if you guys can just send an email and let us know that you still need the QR code, we'll get that sorted out. We'll find a way to get you guys your QR code. Um, because I think the passport challenge is for those on campus. So yeah, so I do not think this is the right QR code, so do apologize for that. We will sort out how to get you guys that, but the best to do at this point is you have all registered for the event, so we do have that registration. Um, so let's kind of stick with that for now. We're going to go with the registration in terms of you guys having registered for the event. Plus, I am going to, rather than emailing, how about you all, if you have not put anything in the chat, today. If you have, great. If you have not put anything in the chat, maybe just shoot a little hello and I'll get a transcript so we can get everyone's name. Okay, that's what we'll do. Perfect. Thanks, Aishba. Okay, on your website, there are recommended courses for first year. Is there any first year courses that has been taken first year, or can I take an elective? That's a great question. So ultimately, in the first year, you do not have to take any specific course. However, the courses that we do suggest is courses that are those building blocks to your skills. Okay, I'm just getting a message that Kofi, my colleague, has the code. So let me see if we can pull that up so that you guys can scan the proper one. Here it is. Okay. So I'm going to bring this up. I think I'm still sharing my screen. So for anyone who's still here, we'll bring this up and then you should be able to scan the proper code. Okay, there we go. Okay, so for anyone who's here, please try this now. Apologies for the mismatch there. And I'll just go back to the questions here. So anyone who's still here, just please scan this this code. This one should be the correct one. So just kind of going back to the website where it talks about kind of electives versus cores. So essentially core courses, like I was mentioning, um, is they're building blocks to your future courses, and some of them are prereqs. So we recommend taking them in the first year, but you do not have to take every single course that's recommended in first year because we actually don't have any courses in first year that must be taken in first year, if that makes sense. Like you'll be able to progress in your degree if you don't take them in first year, right? So it's like the idea is take a couple of your cores, take a couple of electives each semester, and just start kind of plugging your way through. But even though some of the courses in your first year are prereqs for future courses, there are future courses that don't need those prereqs, if that makes sense. Okay. So yeah, so absolutely do a mix of core courses and options. Okay. Will we be able to study core subjects in the first year? Yes, so there are two kind of introductory business courses. There's Sigma, Strategic and Global Management, Strategy and Global Management 217, and Management Studies 217. And those two courses are kind of your intro business type courses and you'll take those in the first year. The rest of them are things like I mentioned, which is like econ, statistics, math, that sort of thing. Okay, so there are a couple introductory business courses that you can take in your first year, but a lot of them are kind of those building blocks. Electives can be in any faculty. For the most part, yes. I will say that engineering usually doesn't allow you to take courses. Education usually doesn't allow you to take courses. Nursing doesn't allow you to take courses. So generally, electives are more so you're going to find them primarily in the arts and sciences. But yeah, hopefully that is enough for you because there's quite a few electives. So. Laura, thank you for re-asking that question. I was just thinking that. I'm like, I know there was a question about combined degree. Yes, so thank you for bringing that up. So combined degree in engineering and business, essentially your first year is going to be all engineering. Okay, so what'll happen is you'll come on campus, you are indeed belonging to both of us, but engineering is a lot more strict about their courses. So we won't really see you a lot in the first year. You're going to be doing primarily your engineering first year. And the reason for that is because unlike us, where we're like, here's some recommended courses, engineering is like, nope, this is your first year. Here's all 10 classes, go. Okay, so you'll be doing those. And then some students choose in the combined degree to do a couple of the business intro courses in the springtime between first and second year. Because what happens is as you kind of move into second year engineering, you'll have a little bit of space to incorporate some of your business courses. And that little bit of space gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you progress in your years in engineering. Okay. So each year you're going to get more spaces to incorporate your business classes. But I will say that most combined degree students with Eng and BCom tend to take some courses in the spring just to kind of stay on track, so to speak. Okay. So that's kind of what it looks like. Hopefully that's helpful. Yes, of course. No problem. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes if you have any questions. I've got a couple emails coming in here too from students who weren't able to get the QR code. So I'm going to send that to them. So yeah, so if you have more questions, I'm going to keep the chat open. But otherwise, I really appreciate you guys all coming and your patience through our little like debacle with the video and the QR. Yeah, really, really excited to have you come. I hope this kind of sparked some excitement for you too.